All right, is this on? I think it's on. Hi, I'm Greg. I am in a Jubilee video, and I am recording this just a couple days after we filmed the Jubilee video. I don't want to wade into the reaction to the video once it comes out, because there's gonna be a reaction. But I did want to provide my thoughts, my insights, my perspective on the experience now. That way I probably will address some of the things people are happy about or angry about or wondering about. Although I did prepare quite a lot, when you are there in front of millions of people, you have a lot of adrenaline. A lot of people I talked to who were there told me afterwards they didn't even remember a word they said while they're in the center of the circle. And I was no exception. I was either experiencing massive adrenaline or crashing from it, and it affected my ability to process what Michael was saying and communicate my own points. For example, I had a very simple thing prepared. Kids with asthma take prednisone, a steroid. Steroids have side effects that are monitored for. Puberty blockers have side effects that are monitored for. Puberty blockers are like something that we're already okay with. Then I'm there, heart's pumping. I cannot remember the words prednisone or steroid. I freeze up for what felt like an hour. I'm sure it was like 5 seconds. Everyone around me shouts albuterol, which is not a steroid, and I know that. And I say, right, albuterol is a steroid. I was not working with my full deck of cards, if you know what I mean. And so I hope everyone who watches the video grades us all on a curve. I know you guys won't, but hope springs eternal. Many of us had never been in a debate ever, let alone a debate like that. I was chummy with Michael, and that was a strategy. So I was there to get basic information out to people. And my understanding is the average person maybe knows like the word transgender, but even that one thing I kept repeating, this is a medical condition, gender dysphoria, right? Because trans is an identity. Trans is not a medical condition. These therapies and procedures are not for trans, it's for gender dysphoria, right? So this is gender dysphoria. It's a medical condition. Its components are this, this, and that. And I was trying not to use academic language like social dysphoria or assigned sex at birth. I was trying to use simple yet accurate language. There are treatments for it, and all of these medical organizations support access to the treatments. Like, I think that is new information for a lot of people. So I just wanted to get that simple information out. But the way you do that is you're in the center of the circle with Michael. And there's two ways to be in the center of the circle with Michael. One way is you are the lucky person who beats out everyone else, and then you are there until the time runs out or until they vote you out. The other way is at the end of every surrounded video, the featured debater can pick one of the 25 people to have a 10-minute uninterrupted debate. 1 in 25 is not great odds, so I thought if I palled around with Michael, he might pick me. And he ended up picking me, so I don't regret that I palled around with him. But if that makes the final video, or if other people who were in the video saying their version of this video I'm making now that, you know, that Greg guy seemed to really like Michael, I didn't really like Michael. I was trying to get Michael to pick me so I could say more things about trans stuff. I'm not the only one that didn't like Michael. There was a guy who was a Republican, I think. He more or less said that. I forget his name, unfortunately, just because I'm bad with names. He had an undercut. He had like a blue suit jacket with an American flag pin. And he used his time with Michael to admonish Michael for basically being a troll. And I told this guy, this Republican guy, hey man, I can tell that your heart is in the right place. And I really appreciate that. I really respect that. And that is how I interact with people normally. Another example, I was at a social event and there was this girl there who was from like a really small town and she had never been to Los Angeles before. And she basically told me, and if she sees this, I'm saying this to the best of my recollection, I have spent a lot of time living in other countries where they really don't like gay and trans people. And in those other countries, there are no gay people and no trans people. And she was basically asking me, like, so doesn't that mean it's not real to be gay or trans? And it's just, or at least that's how I interpreted the question. Maybe that's not what she meant. But I spent like 45 minutes talking to her, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so cool to me that you're asking me this. Because, like, I normally don't get the opportunity to talk to people who think like this. And the way I think is so different. And it's so awesome to me that you're willing to ask me this question. And I just told her, you know, everything like very like respectfully, and she really appreciated it. And I gave her my phone number at the end. And I said, hey, anytime you have a question about any of this stuff, you know, reach out to me. So that's how I normally interact with people. But it quickly became apparent to me, and not just me, it became apparent to the conservative Republican guy too. I actually found middle ground with the conservative. It just wasn't Michael. That Michael was just like trying to piss us off and trying to get clips of us looking dumb. And so it just kind of felt like if I treated him as if he wasn't doing what he was doing, he was just going to take advantage of me. I knew that if I became sort of combative and talked over him and did these things I was doing, it would not play well to a certain section of the audience that really likes these sort of dispassionate debates where everyone is talking at 2x speed and kind of looks like this the whole time. Like, there are 3 fallacies in your argument. I just wanted to have like a little clip of me giving something informative about gender affirming care, make it into the final cut. So, you know, if I'm the villain of the video for being nasty to Michael Knowles, like that's, I don't care. Something funny happened. So there was a point where somebody got voted out of the circle and there was still some time left on the clock. And 2 people wanted to have a turn, me and this girl. And I ended up being the person who got the turn, but I felt bad for the girl. So I said, hey, how about this? I will go for just a minute or 2, and then, hey, everyone, vote me out after like a minute. And then she can go. Because I only have one thing I want to say real quick. And I thought we were all on board with that. Nobody said, yes, I vote for this. But I just no one said no. So I just assumed that was what was happening. So a little bit of time goes by with Michael. I look at the clock. I say, oh, no. You know, the clock's going to run out. It's time for this girl to go. So then I try to get up and give her her turn. And then I could say 3 things happened, but really 3 things didn't happen. 1, nobody raised their flag. 2, the girl didn't get up. 3, Michael didn't stop talking. So now I am standing like this. The chair's there. He's there. And he's just talking to no one. And I can't even hear what he's saying. And I'm like, wait, Michael, like, stop it. And he's like, and I'm like, no, like, Michael. And I was just trying to call a timeout so this poor girl could have her turn. And after what felt like an eternity, I'm sure it was 5 seconds, but I was just like, okay, like, I guess I'll go sit down again. So I sat back down in the chair. If that makes the edit, I am sure a bunch of like conservative people on the internet and maybe Michael himself are going to take the clip where I'm out of the chair and they're like, wow, look at this triggered lib. But I was just trying to be nice to this girl. There are some things I didn't get to in the video, just some information I wanted to give or some things I wanted to say. So I'll just say them here. At the very end of my 10 minutes with Michael, at the end of the video, I was explaining the difference between detransition and surgery regret. And what I was getting to, 1, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that there are people who go through social transition and or puberty blockers and or hormones and or gender affirming surgery, and something went horribly wrong. That does not have to do with those more common things I mentioned. You know, overwhelmingly, surgery regret is due to functional or aesthetic shortcomings of the surgical result, and overwhelmingly detransition is due to like you lost your insurance and you can't pay for your hormones, or your family shuns you, or you can't get a job. Those more common things don't invalidate the people who have these really tragic stories. But also the inverse is true. The people who have these really tragic stories don't invalidate the fact, and it's just a fact, I'm sorry, that the vast majority of time, these tragic outlier things don't happen. And thus, these tragedies don't justify, in my opinion, banning access to the care entirely. We can draw parallels to other things. My late mother-in-law got a knee replacement. That could have gone wrong. That could have given her an infection. People die from infections. She could have died. I'm sure people have literally died from knee replacements. But we don't say we need to completely ban knee replacements, right? So that was one point I wanted to get to that I didn't get to. The other thing I wanted to say, there is a specific statistic that is thrown around a lot, which is that after gender-affirming surgery, your risk of the word that starts with S, that is when you end your own life, goes up. And here's the thing. I mentioned knee replacement just now. After you get a knee replacement, that's a major surgery. You're in pain. You can't even bathe normally because you'll get the stitches wet. You're kind of hobbling around. You're stuck in bed. After any major surgery, your risk of the S word goes up temporarily just because recovering from a major surgery sucks. It doesn't go up any more for gender affirming surgery than for any other like equivalently major procedure. So yes, technically you could say it goes up, but it goes up temporarily as it does for any other equivalent surgical procedure. Again, like a knee replacement. After that short-term spike, people who get gender-affirming surgery have an over 40% reduction in both S-word ideation and psychological distress. So that is something I wanted to clear up. In terms of minors getting surgeries, it does happen. And the doctors I spoke to said, it does happen. You can't say it doesn't happen. It does. But here is context. It's incredibly rare. When it does happen, it is people who are very close to the age of 18. It's not like little kids. Under 18 is still a kid, but there's a difference between a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old. And here are the steps that I was told people go through. And I was told this by the doctors I spoke to. And one of these is very important. So one, of course, the consistent, enthusiastic interest and consent of the patient. 2, parental consent, obviously. 3, 2 letters, one from a physician and one from a mental health professional. Okay, that sounds great. But you could say, well, what if they are like wokies, right? What if it's a woke physician and a woke therapist or woke psychiatrist? They need insurance approval. And I'm sure everyone watching this, if you have not experienced this yourself, you know someone who has. And if you don't think you know someone who has, you need to ask your friends because someone has. Medical insurance companies deny coverage for things that people really obviously need all the time. Famously, medical insurance companies are not known to approve things, agree to cover things that aren't necessary. They fight so hard to not approve things that it's like to even get something approved by your insurance company is often a much higher bar than like to have all the doctors agree you need it, right? So the fact that they need insurance approval is like pretty damning to me to this claim that like people are just getting handed out surgeries, right? If you're interested, the type of surgery they get, it's never a bottom surgery. It is a top surgery. And top surgery can be 2 things in this context. One is a breast augmentation, which is just a fancy way of saying breast implants. The other thing is a breast reduction. Sometimes people get like a breast reduction because you are a cisgender, non-transgender woman, and you just have really big breasts and it causes you like back pain, right? Or you can have a breast reduction where all of your breast tissue is removed, like a double mastectomy, right? So when these trans kids get top surgery, it is almost always the breast reduction, the removal of the breasts, because when you take estrogen, you grow breasts. But when you take testosterone, your breasts don't shrink. So if you are a trans girl and you're taking estrogen, you usually will just grow breasts as a result of your hormone therapy. But when you're a trans boy, your testosterone does not cause your breasts to go away. Again, this is a very rare surgery. In fact, the teenagers who get top surgery, which I've defined as either augmentation, which is breast implants, or reduction, it's overwhelmingly non-transgender teenage girls who just want breast implants for cosmetic reasons. And non-transgender teenage girls who just want breast implants for cosmetic reasons, which is top surgery, get that surgery at 10 times the rate of transgender teenagers getting any sort of gender-affirming top surgery. So that's interesting to me. And let's see, is there anything else I wanted to bring up here? The last thing, and I don't remember if I said this. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember anything. I need a caffeinated soda. This is a cream soda. Running out of steam. I don't know. I probably covered whatever I've left out is probably not very important. So, thanks for watching this. Just know that all 25 of us are decent people who are just trying our best. And, what else can you ask for? All right, thanks for watching.